Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless from Jerry's Restaurant, South Mayo Trail, Pikeville. He is the all-time winningest coach in Kentucky high school history with 345 career wins, now 4-2 on the young season. Ladies and gentlemen, our coach of the University of Pikeville Bears, Dudley Hilton. Coach, tough loss, one of the toughest losses that a team can take when you lose in the final seconds. 28-24 to Lindsey Wilson Saturday. It's a heartbreaker. What was the mood of the team after the loss?
Well, you know, Andrew, we've been through it twice now. It's twice we've had a great opportunity to win a football game that people didn't expect that we could win or try to redeem a loss from last year. And we done it on a couple teams, but we had an opportunity to do it on two other teams. And, you know, we were all hurt. The first game down the shoulder was hard on us, but this game other day, you know, been a homecoming crowd, and we just got caught in a bad situation and just coming off a big win over Campbellsville, and you know, just got a lot of press over it, and our kids couldn't get back down to earth. I believe if we could have lost to Campbellsville, we wouldn't have had no trouble with Lindsey Wilson, and then Lindsey Wilson just got done getting blowed out by Campbellsville, so that didn't help us any at all. And then they had an extra week prepared on us, and I knew Lindsey Wilson had a good team. Everybody didn't think they did, but I watched the game against Cumberland U and thought they played their tails off, and Cumberland U is probably going to win that other division this year. But you know, we just got caught in a bad situation on a team that was looking forward to playing us, and on a team that wasn't used to winning. And I was proud of my kids. They fought back. We just dug an early hole like we did down the shoulder, but we didn't quit. We fought back, had a chance at the end to win. Just a few decisions that you know, that I might have messed up and some of the players messed up, but the bottom line is we all took the loss. And I think, you know, the whole team took the loss, the offense, the defense, the special team, and hopefully, you know, that gives us something to keep on growing, and I'm still proud of them.
You've won 77% of the games you've coached in your career, high school, college combined. It's a lot of wins. You don't lose often. How much does a loss, especially a last-second loss, how much does it hurt Dudley Hilton?
Well, it hurts. You know, I don't think I guess when it don't hurt no more, I'm gonna get out of the business. And you know, and there's so many people that loves to beat me, Andrew. And you know, there was people on the Lindsey Wilson team just wanted the chance to stab the old man in the back, or you know, or to, you know, just to beat him. And you know, and I just, you know, that just makes it's an honor to really want people to get after you, but I'm not a good loser. I you know, I take things hard, but I stayed around after the game and socialized some out on the field with some people that I hadn't seen for a long time. And but again, it was hard on me, but I'm a man enough about it that I can bite my lip and go on with life to a certain extent. But this is by far the hardest college loss I ever had. So, you know, it was tough.
Guarantee it. And that's what you can say about a winner. They don't like to lose. A winner truly is never a good loser. What's the mood of the team? Sometimes a tough loss like this, it can affect a team the rest of the way. How do you feel like your team will respond?
You know, I went through the whole lot of the same things in high school where, you know, we overlooked teams and you know, come close and they bounce back. And I hate to see kids learn a lesson the hard way. We lost a lesson. We learned a lesson the hard way. And but again, you know, the kids bounced back Sunday night. We really worked hard. You couldn't tell most of them that they lost. They was ready to get back. And you know, in college it's so much different in high school, because college you meet them the next day. In high school you usually don't meet them till Monday, so you got 2 days to you don't know if they're wallowing in it or not. But you know, but the kids they bounced back this week. They're looking forward to the Georgetown game, trying to get a chance to redeem themselves and you know, and try it again to come out of that hole. We dug ourselves out a little bit out of a hole, and now we fell back down again. So you know, hopefully they still got some fingernails left in them to where they can crawl back out again.
It's the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless from Jerry's Restaurant, South Mayo Trails. We talk University of Pikeville Bears football every Tuesday night. This week we're talking about a 28-24 loss the Bears suffered to Lindsey Wilson. Coach, moments ago you were talking about this game. the way your team responds. And you said that maybe you had overlooked Lindsey Wilson. Not you personally, but maybe some of the players had.
Well, I don't know if we overlooked them. I'm not making up no excuses. Lindsey Wilson was their situation of where they came off a bitter loss to Campbellsville, their biggest rival, and they had a week to prepare for us. We came off probably the biggest win that University of Pikeville's had in the last 4 or 5 years, beating a ranked team in Campbellsville. Right. So when you put those situations together, people and the press don't let you forget the big win over Campbellsville. Campbellsville killed Lindsey Wilson. So you read that. It's not that our kids didn't play hard. We just might not have played with intensity or worked during the week as hard as we should. I told you on the show last week, they was dealing with an old man. He knew how to get them back up, and I thought I'd done a pretty good job. But I look back on it, and there's some things. The homecoming that we did here during the week was great, but our kids got caught up in that too. And we just had so many things that got our mind off Lindsey Wilson. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. I don't think my kids quit. I think they played hard for me. My fans showed up. They yelled hard for me. The band, cheerleaders, all played hard. But it's just one of those games. It was in a tough. We had everything to lose, not a whole lot to win, because everybody knew we was going to win. But here we lost, and so we had a lot to lose, and that's why we took it so hard, Andrew.
No doubt about it. You try to find positives in any game, a loss or a win. You try to take away a positive as you move on. It seemed that the Bears played very hard, digging out of the hole, rallying, coming back. The last series, had the defense just simply run out of gas?
Yeah, they ran out of gas. They ran out of gas the series before that when we made a big interception and come down. And, we had a 4th down and 1. And of course, you had to do all over again. You'd done things different. But, the defense hadn't given up a touchdown in the second half. You thought they'd finally got to know how they was going to stop Lindsey Wilson, and they did. They just, you said it, Andrew. We just give out gas, right. And then again, that's coaching things of it. But that's the bottom line. If I had done over again, I'd went on the 4th down and took the blame myself instead of putting it on a bunch of defensive players or offensive players, and took the blame myself.
Well, it's a tough loss for Lindsey Wilson. We try to put it behind us. Your thoughts on the game? Take the loss out of it. You look at the game film and you break down the Bears' performance in that game. And how do you break down the loss?
Well, again, and I met with them Sunday night, and I told them every day of the week, every football game, I try to prove I can coach. I try to instill this into kids. We had some opportunities that we didn't perform. Either we didn't wrap up on defense, or we didn't make the pass, or we didn't make the catch, or we didn't make the block. And our kids got to learn that they got to prove every time they go out they can play. And you can't live on what you did in the past, and that's, I just try to keep throwing that at them. That's what the sport is so good about it. We can sit here and brag when we do good things, but the most important play is the next play. The most important pass that Trevor Hoskins ever throws is the next pass. Sure. The most important catch that Amos makes is the next catch. The most important interception that Larry West makes is the next interception. And all that other stuff is behind you. And that's what the kids got to realize. And we're too big on wanting to just live on that big home run we hit, or that big interception, or the big pass. We got to learn how to put those things behind us and go on with the next play.
Most important segments. The next segment, we're going to talk about that as well.
Go.
The Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless, and Coach, of course, Lindsey Wilson. We try to put it to bed, and tremendous individual performances. Larry West, he tied his school record with 3 interceptions. 11 tackles, I think 7 solos. John Dudley with 13 tackles on the day. Again, some big individual performances. Again, a Player of the Week award from the Mid-South Conference. And you take that with the respect being gained around the conference, and the fact that Lindsey Wilson, from what I understand, changed a lot of what they do offensively out of respect to the Bears defense. This program's starting to grow some teeth as far as respect around the conference and around the country?
Well, I told the kids after the game, watching Lindsey Wilson enjoying the win, I said right there shows you guys what you're made of now. I said watch them jumping around, and I said if you was 0-5, they just come across, shake your hand, and went on the dressing room, went on back to Columbia. But they stayed out there and celebrated, and that's good, because if we're getting important, that means people are working harder for us. But it's a big win for Lindsey Wilson, a disappointing one for us. But we're going to be okay.
Dudley Hilton, any concerns about the Bears' confidence coming off this loss? Are they deflated? You worry about that going into Georgetown?
Well, again, Lindsey Wilson had a week off, and they're rested up. We're not. We're wore out. We've drove our kids hard. I'm really concerned about how hard we've really worked at it. They got to go to class all day and take, the professors are hollering at them to drive them here, and these kids are getting drove from every direction, and I can see that, and that concerns me, because we played so hard. Now we're kind of beat up. We're going to have to look at things, and we got another week after Georgetown week, and then next week Virginia Wise, and then we finally get a week off, and we're all looking forward to that. But we've got to bounce back. Our kids are looking forward to this week, and hopefully we will bounce back, Andrew.
We'll talk more Georgetown in just a little bit. Coach Darrell Sims joins us. President, the former governor, Paul Patton, also joins us on the Dudley Hilton Show, and the Mid-South Conference Defensive Player of the Week, Larry West. When we return, the Dudley Hilton Show presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. The Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless, where we talk University of Pikeville Bears football. Coming up a little later, we'll talk with assistant coach Darrell Sims and the Mid-South Conference Defensive Player of the Week, Larry West. Coach Dudley Hilton will rejoin us as well here on the Dudley Hilton Show. But right now, I guess we've called Dudley Hilton Papa Bear of the football program. Ladies and gentlemen, truly Papa Bear of the University of Pikeville. He's the former governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. He's president of Pikeville College, Governor Paul Patton, and welcome to the Dudley Hilton Show.
Good to be here. And this is a good program. Give us an opportunity to talk about the great things that are happening with our athletic program, and you get something to eat. I got my hamburgers on the way, and I think I get a 10% discount. So
how about that?
And Judy told me to bring her a hamburger too. So it's a great opportunity to come out here at Jerry's Restaurant and see some of the team and talk to the coach and talk about UPike football.
UPike football is the thing to talk about this year.
Boy,
Dudley
sure
Hilton comes to town since he arrived on campus in December, and I don't know who's responsible for the hire. They say we give credit to you for searching out Dudley Hilton.
The rule is if it's wrong, somebody else did it, and if it's right, I did it. That's the old politician in me. But no, it was the staff came up with the idea. I wasn't that familiar with the coach, but boy, I am now, and it was the right thing to do. It's just amazing. It's amazing. I don't understand. I don't know how you do it.
A lot of folks say the same thing about you, the energy that's come to the University of Pikeville campus since you arrived. Dudley Hilton with the football program, that same type of energy. Last year, 2 wins, 1 win the year before, already off to a 4-2 start. They've been ranked nationally, receiving votes from across the country. The respect is back with the program.
Oh, absolutely. And that crowd last Saturday, I think the biggest crowd has ever seen a UPike football game. And they were enthusiastic. It just breaks your heart, to do that, work that hard and come that close and lose in 2.1 seconds.
Yeah.
One play.
Heartbreaking loss.
It really was. They had, that last stand though, they were down to the 4th down. They held them 3 times and down to 1 yard in that last play of the game.
Heartbreaking loss. And during the break, Dudley Hilton, he kidded with you a little bit. He said, "Governor, I don't believe you ever lost an election." And he said, "You don't know what it's like to lose." You reminded us that you did. And you lost an election when?
I did lose the lieutenant governor's race in 1987, and it's not easy. That hurts. That's hard. But you know, sometimes you can learn more from a loss than you do from a win. And I came back and I ran for lieutenant governor again, and really those additional 4 years made me a better governor. And it also gave me the opportunity to serve 2 terms.
Exactly.
If I had won the 87 race, I would have only been able to serve 1 term as governor. But since Governor Jones led the effort to change that, so losing is not fun. But you know, the important thing is to try your best, try your hardest. My dad used to say I wasn't a very good football player. Let's put it that way. I was a substitute halfback on a team that went 1-9. So down at Louisiana. Yeah. So I wasn't a good football player. But he said, son, that's okay. He said the important thing is try. He said the failure is not to fail to win. It's to fail to try your best. And I'll have to say that the team and the coaching staff, they tried their best. And just, you know, that could have gone either way. That game could have gone either way. 2
losses in 10 seconds for the Bears this season, 10 seconds away from being 6-0. Governor Paul Patton, the president of the University of Pikeville, Governor, I guess we'll take this opportunity to maybe get an evaluation of Dudley Hilton through 6 games at the University of Pikeville. Your chance to evaluate him here in front of the cameras.
110%. Much. I didn't believe that you could have taken that team that far that quickly. But he's got good players and they're playing. You're going to talk about the national player, the defensive player of the week. Here we've had several other players have made defensive or offensive player of the week in the NAIA. Nationally, they were talking about nationally. We're playing with attention on a national level.
Right.
And that's what the coach has brought to this program. And it's the rest of the season is going to be exciting, and it's really high-class football. If there's a football fan out there that hasn't come down to see our team play, you're missing an opportunity to see some really class, high-quality college football. And I've been to every home game. Went down to Campbellsville. I went over to UVA Wise, and didn't go to Alabama or wherever Shore is. But it's really, and you know when. University of Pikeville plays and University of Kentucky plays.
Yes.
I'm at the University of Pikeville game. But I believe it's a little bit more interesting football.
He is Papa Bear, president of the University of Pikeville. He's our governor, Paul Patton, and thanks so much for your time. He's the #1 Bears fan. And Governor, we'll see you this Saturday taking on Georgetown.
We'll do it.
All right, go Bears.
All right.
It's Governor Paul Patton, the president of the University of Pikeville. The Dudley Hilton Show returns. We'll talk with Coach Darrell Sims when we come back. Jerry's Restaurant, South Mayo Trail. Welcome back. The Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless from Jerry's Restaurant, South Mayo Trail, Pikeville, where we talk University of Pikeville Bears football. And I'm joined now by the Director of Football Operations and Running Backs Coach with the University of Pikeville Bears, Darrell Sims. And Coach Sims, welcome to the Dudley Hilton Show.
Thank you.
I have to ask, Dudley Hilton, it is his show. The sign on the wall says that. Does he give you guys any tips before you come on to the show, his show?
No, not really. He just lets us be ourselves.
Does he remind you that he's the boss and not to say anything negative about it?
He does that every day.
Every day.
He reminds us every day that he's the boss.
Guaranteed. Coach, tell the listeners about your playing and your coaching background.
Well, I started playing here in 2006, played running back from 2006 to 2008. In 2009, I started coaching here as a student assistant, coached outside linebackers. After that year in 2010, I went to Millersville University in Pennsylvania. I coached tight ends and running backs up there. Then I came back here in April and took over as running backs coach here.
Why do you come back to the University of Pikeville?
Opportunity coming here and change the program around. I was here as a player, and we wasn't able to get it off the ground the way that we should have been. So knowing the talent that was here, I decided to come back and try to make a difference and help out any way that I could.
What did you know about Coach Hilton when you came back?
I knew that he was the all-time winningest coach in the state of Kentucky in football. I knew that he was a legend. And the opportunity to come back and work for him and be able to get grown by a guy of his caliber was something that I couldn't turn down at the point in time. So it was an opportunity to come back and try to better myself as a coach.
After you've been around Coach Hilton now for several months, through summer camp, through the spring, and now 6 games into the season, he's a legend in Kentucky high school football. Is it something that you can now see why he's considered a legend?
Yeah, it's the way he treats people. I mean, he's a humble guy that always treats people right and does as much as he can to help anybody out. He's a competitor. Yeah. That's the number one thing that you can tell from him. He's a competitor. He doesn't like to lose, and you can tell why he hasn't lost very often. And you can also tell why he's the all-time winningest coach as well. He works hard, and he pushes us coaches to work hard and do the best that we can do to be the best coaches that we possibly can be.
Running backs coach and director of football operations. Director of football operations first. Let's let the folks that are tuned in know what that title. What are your duties? Director
of football operations basically handles any travel arrangements, any day-to-day operations around the football office, in terms of scheduling meetings, scheduling meeting rooms, and including on the road travel-wise, bus transportation, hotel arrangement, food arrangements.
A lot of details.
Any minor details that needs to be taken care of when we're not in the office, I kind of handle that as well.
And in the backfield, you handle the details as well with the running backs. Tough task, because in college football, and particularly in the Mid-South Conference, your running backs are going to get beat up. What are the greatest challenges in coaching running backs at the University of Pike?
The greatest challenge right now is teaching them how to be a complete running back. A lot of guys come from high school and they understand how to run the football, but not understanding how to help out in pass protection. That's the number one problem and issue right now, is trying to teach these guys how to be physical in that aspect. Not only being physical in the running game, but also being physical in pass protection. Understanding defenses and understanding coverages as well, so they can understand how it helps out and they fit into the whole picture of being a running back.
And a lot of these running backs, they've been the man on campus in high school. What kind of transition is it to take a star running back from high school and allow him or guide him through the transition to a college running back?
You kind of have to humble him a little bit. Understand that when he comes in, he's not the big man on campus anymore, and that he's not going to tote the ball 15, 20 times a game. He may get 4 here, he may get 8 the next game, he may get 2 the next game. Just understanding that his role, he fits the whole part of the offense. He may just be a third down back. He may be the workhorse, but he has a role that fits into this offense, and it kind of takes a little while, but they usually come around.
Running backs, they take a beating in college football. They get beat up. Injuries are part of the game with running backs. If you're a running back and he's healthy through the entire season, you've been very blessed. When do you ever have enough depth at the running back position as a coach?
Usually don't. Usually have to have about 5 running backs in order to make it through the season. And usually most of them are interchangeable, and they all bring a certain dimension to the game that helps out in terms of the situation, in terms of the offense that we do run. So we never do have enough. We're always looking for more.
What are some of the challenges in preparation each week in the Mid-South Conference? You go from a Campbellsville, a Shorter, to Georgetown, to Wise, to whomever. There's never an off week in preparation. What is it like as a coach preparing for a Mid-South opponent each week?
It's a constant grind, because you prepare for a certain type of defense one week, then the next week you face a whole totally different type of defense. And the thing that we do as an offense is we sit down, me, Coach Holland, and the rest of the offensive staff. It gets hard because everybody plays us differently than they play everyone else. So we have to kind of throw out everything that we have in order to prepare for them and get the kids different looks. So it gets tough at times.
Coach Darrell Sims, he's the running backs coach, director of football operations at the University of Pikeville. As we talk U-Pike football, the Bears 4-2, and you're tuned in to the Dudley Hilton Show. We'll talk with the coach again in just moments. Also, the Mid-South Conference Player of the Week, Larry West. One final question for you, Coach Sims. If a player is tuned into the show tonight, and maybe a high school player, even a middle school player, even a younger player, and he wants to become a better player, wants to play at the next level, whatever that level may be, what advice would Darrell Sims give that player?
Continue to work hard, continue to have a hunger about yourself, and critique yourself every day. Find out things that you're not good at, and continue to work hard at those things every day.
All right, Darrell Sims, running backs coach, director of football operations at the University of Pikeville. Coach, best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We'll watch those running backs this week. It's the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless from Jerry's Restaurant, South Mayo Trail, Pikeville. We'll return after this. Welcome back in. The Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless from Jerry's Restaurant, South Mayo Trail, Pikeville. Coach Dudley Hilton will rejoin us momentarily. We've talked with Assistant Coach, Director of Football Operations and Running Backs Coach Darrell Sims, Governor Paul Patton, the President of the University of Pikeville as well, where it's all things U-Pike football this evening, every Tuesday evening from Jerry's Restaurant. And I'm joined now by defensive back Larry West from Lawrence County High School, and Larry West, a sophomore defensive back who is currently the Mid-South Conference Defensive Player of the Week. And Larry West, welcome to the Dudley Hilton Show, and congratulations on a weekly award.
Thank you very much.
Of course, 3 interceptions, 11 tackles, 7 solos against Lindsey Wilson. We're going to talk about that, not yet, because at the University of Pikeville, they're called student athletes, and student comes first. So let's talk about your academics. What's your major? What would you like to do in the future?
I'm majoring in biology, and I'd like to take down farther to become a physical therapist. If everything doesn't work out for me in football.
There you go. So keep playing football as long as you can.
Yes, sir.
Then going to be a physical therapist. Might find a job with some football team around the country, college, NFL. Stay close to the game. Of course, student does come first at the University of Pikeville. Let's talk now about your football background. Let's talk about your high school days and your college football experience as well.
Yeah, well, I've been to a few different high schools since I was a freshman. Started out playing Huntington High School when I was a freshman. Sophomore and junior year, I was in Nitro High School in West Virginia.
Right.
And my senior year, I was in Kentucky, Lawrence County. You know, it was nice.
Bulldogs had a great season your senior year.
Yes, sir.
And talk a little about your high school coach.
Luke Salmons, he's a great coach. You know, he's told me a lot of stuff that I still use today.
Talk about Luke Salmons and compare him to Dudley Hilton now, and your DB coach, David Jones.
Right.
Similarities and differences.
Yeah, they all get me going, you know what I'm saying? Like, Luke and Hilton, they're alike, they both like to win.
Right.
They do whatever it takes to win. So,
both pretty tough guys,
yeah,
old school type coaches.
Old school.
Yeah,
Old school.
They're getting you face when you need it,
Yeah.
but you understand the love that they have for their players
Yes,
as
sir.
well.
Yes, sir.
Larry West, you currently lead the nation in interceptions with 6 interceptions on the season, tied a school record last week with 3 interceptions. Your teammate, Dimitri Travis, held that record prior to you tying it this past week.
Yes,
Any competition go on between the DBs?
Oh, no.
No, not
We
at
have
all.
love for each other.
Yeah?
All love, baby.
Pretty solid background, and of course you guys doing a great job. I asked the question to Coach Darrell Sims about preparing for a Mid-South Conference opponent each week. You've got Georgetown coming up this week. You know the history of Georgetown.
Yes, sir.
What's it like to prepare for Mid-South Conference opponents? You never get an off week.
It's tough, man. All the film, you know, in there all day, every day. Coach Jones, he pounds it in your head, you know.
When you've got an opponent, Georgetown, Campbellsville, Lindsay, Short, whomever, and you guys go into a film session, when you walk out on the field on Saturday, have you seen everything that team has done offensively? And when they get into a formation, you feel like you know the play that's going to be run?
From watching film, yeah, sometimes it happens, but sometimes they change it up when you.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But, yeah.
In a typical Mid-South Conference week, how much time do you spend watching film?
We're in there from 5 to 6:30 every day, so add that up 5 days a week.
So you've got 8-10 hours of
Yes,
film
sir.
time in before you
Not
ever step
including
on the
the time
field.
that I watch on my own
Right.
online.
All right. I'll ask you the same question I do coaches. You've got young kids, they idolize you guys. You're a college football player, and you have young kids running around at the games, and they want to be a football player, a high school player, a college player. If you had a chance to give one of those young players some advice, how to be a better player, what advice would you give them?
I tell him get out there, work hard, give it your best every play, don't give up. You know, keep
Larry-
pushing forward.
Larry West, I'm going to ask you one question that I'm not sure I've ever asked a player. Share with us your greatest football moment.
My greatest football moment had to be when I came to Kentucky, played Kentucky football in high school, and from opening kickoff
Opening kickoff.
to the house.
Took it to the house in your first game playing Kentucky high school football.
Yes, sir.
That's a moment to remember. How about 3 interceptions last week against Lindsay? I know it was a loss, but will that stand out at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have 3 interceptions in the game, but I couldn't have done it without my D-line and my linebackers to get the pressure on the quarterback. And my coaches put me in the right position to make a play.
There you go.
So
Pretty talented athlete in his own right. In spite of coaching and the help he gets, he's a great DB. Larry West, he's the Mid-South Conference Defensive Player of the Week. We'll step out. When we return, we talk to Coach Dudley Hilton. It is the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless from Jerry's Restaurant, South Mayo Trail. Come on down. Check out the Bear Burger. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless from Jerry's Restaurant, South Mayo Trail, Pikeville, where we talk University of Pikeville Bears football. Earlier, we heard from the president of the University of Pikeville, former Governor Paul Patton. We've talked with Director of Football Operations and Running Backs Coach Darrell Sims and the Mid-South Conference Defensive Player of the Week, Larry West. And, of course, Dudley Hilton rejoins us now as we talk Georgetown. One of the most hated teams in the Mid-South Conference, not just with the University of Pikeville, but throughout the conference. Everybody wants to beat Georgetown. They're ranked number 5 in the country, and a 1:30 kickoff Saturday at the Hamley Complex. Coach Dudley Hilton, how about a little scout report on Georgetown?
Well, when you get talking about hated teams, you know, Belfry is probably one of the hatedest team, and Bell County is probably one of the hatedest team, and so, you know, the reason that Georgetown is the most hated is because where they're at, and they very well represented the Mid-South Conference for several years. They've won several national championships with them there, but you know, their headlines in the Lexington Herald this week that they're back to the dominance that they were a few years ago, and you know, and after looking on the film, they've got a good-looking football team. And you know, I watched the game last year, and that was as a Bell County high school football coach. And I go down to Georgetown, watching Georgetown and Pikeville. I knew Jade Haddix well, and I knew a couple of players on the Georgetown team. But just being a spectator there, it was a very exciting football game, and Pikeville sure played their hearts out down there that day, and sure gave them a big scare. But bottom line, Georgetown went on and won. But they got a lot of those same kids returning. They got a quarterback that was billed as All-American, and he got hurt a couple weeks ago, and he's out for the season. But they picked up a young man from Mason County who's you know, good football player. They've got a very big offensive line, and they got two good bookends on defense that's going to really put pressure on our offensive team. So they've got everything to have a good football team. As far as you know, that much better than you know, you compare scores. They had Campbellsville down at halftime like 17-6. We had Campbellsville down 31-7 at halftime. Shorter, you know, was the same situation. So you compare some games, and you know, and that's what you know, we feel like we need to do, because you compare scores. You know, we got a very good chance to win this football game.
Big crowd at the Hamley Complex last week for Lindsey Wilson. Homecoming, of course, parents' weekend. But with Georgetown coming to town, the players need the support of the community, and we want to invite them out this week.
Yeah, you know, again, it's one of those games that you know, we feel like it's you know, it's another big marked game for our football team, and when you have those big games, you sure don't need homecoming or anything like that to come out and watch them. It's going to take care of itself. But we're talking about the ranked 5th football team in the country, and we were fortunate enough to beat the 18th. Now we got a chance to knock off number 5, and you know, that's a good opportunity. And I know if I was close in the neighborhood, I believe I'd come watch this ball game. But we're going to be ready to play. Our kids has practiced so far, had a great week, and we've turned it up a little bit, and that's what we need to compete with this bunch from Georgetown. Whether
you're close in the neighborhood or not, you'll want to travel from throughout the region to check out Georgetown at the Hamley Complex in Pikeville. Saturday, 1:30 kickoff. Our coverage begins at 1:10 on Z-Rock 107.5. Coach Dudley Hilton, you said last year Pikeville went to Georgetown and gave them a scare. we're not looking for a scare this week. We're looking for a W.
Yeah, that's what we want to do this time, and you know, we're going to be ready. We just want to give ourselves a great opportunity, and that's what we've done in every game we've played. We've had an opportunity, and you know, sometimes at halftime, if you're way down, you don't have that opportunity. And right now, our football team has given us the opportunity, and we're 4-2. We just want them to give us the opportunity in the fourth quarter, and hopefully we can outcoach that bunch down there.
There you go. Dudley Hilton, and you've been tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Saturday, 1:30 kickoff at the Hamley Complex. You're invited and welcome to be a part of the crowd. And be sure and tune in to PikeTV.com. Check out the schedule for opportunities to view the Dudley Hilton Show. We'll be back next Tuesday at 6:30. Every Tuesday evening, the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless from Jerry's Restaurant. Good evening and go Bears.